Hello, good morning, Montana. My name's Dan Nickerson. I'm here with Jim Lowe. We're here to talk about our next event at the Billings Symphony at the Alberta Bear. This Saturday at 10:30 and 7:30, we're going to be doing our version of A Christmas Carol. So the Billings Symphony and Orchestra and Jim, they will be conducting behind me, and I will be narrating out front, all 16 roles. This will be the second time I've done it. I don't know, how have you done this?
No, it's the first time
before?
I'm doing Christmas Carol,
Okay,
like in this
awesome.
form, yeah, in this
Good.
format.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I know I did it once as well in Battle Creek, Michigan, and during the pandemic, and we got to film it that time because there was a whole stay in place. So everything's still pretty fresh
Still
in
in
my
your
brain.
mind.
But I'm excited to work with you. I have worked with Ann Harrigan before, but it's good to get a fresh new take on it. So
Yeah.
Tell me about yourself.
Well, it's really fun to do this
Yeah.
because I do actually a lot of musical theater, a lot of opera, so a lot of kind of dramatic music, you know, and so to have the chance to do this, you know, the format of this, for the people that don't know this piece, is Dan is telling the story and kind of narrating in between, and we play music that sometimes comes in after he's doing a scene or sometimes underneath the scene, and it's very kind of atmospheric and really dramatic and wonderful music that was put together by Carl Davis and works really well with the story. So it's a lot of fun to kind of play off of each other.
I liked what you were talking about last night when you were going through the score and really hammering to the point, like these are punctuations to what's going on in the scene. You know, like you have Fred and you have Scrooge who are talking with each other, and it's supposed to like be this again, this punctuation to what conversation has just happened. So it's like I love how music is a conversation, just like us speaking right now. Like you can hear the peaks and valleys of it. I mean, as when I was teaching, I would do these projects where kids would do these silent scenes, but they would have to plot the scenes, the ups and the downs to the peaks and the valleys of the song. Because I believe that if you can't tell a story without words, then there's no point in telling it. You know?
Yeah.
Even though I do speak. So
you know, music is drama, I think.
Yeah.
You know, even when it's completely instrumental music. And it's actually interesting last night in the rehearsal because, you know, the orchestra players, they don't have the words necessarily in front of them.
Right.
And so they just have music that has indications on it that tells them how to play something, but it's not always specific enough. And so when we talked about it and I said what you described, I said, you know, this scene is an argument, or this scene is whatever, and then we had you kind of narrate some of it, and they played it completely differently. It's really fascinating to hear how just with that little piece of knowledge, suddenly the accents were stronger, suddenly the music kind of came alive, and they're a wonderful orchestra. So when they get that kind of information, suddenly it's not just notes on a page.
Yeah, I enjoy your style. Not to say anything bad about Anne, but it's just like I said, it's different. It's nice to have some like a fresh take on it, and I know even having done Peter and the Wolf, it's interesting because those specific characters have their specific instruments, and I love it's like it dictates the way that they move, the way that they talk, the way that they interact with other people, the excitement of the scene. You know, as you know, the tempo speeds up and you know, different characters are introduced, and I think that this is going to be a good journey, a short journey, but a good one.
No, it's interesting you mentioned Peter and the Wolf. I actually did Peter and the Wolf earlier this year, and it's very similar in that way because the narrator's in between pieces and sometimes over the top of pieces, and again, if the orchestra hears what's going on. And me being a theatrical person, because I come from the world of, I mean, I do a lot of symphonic work, but I also do a lot of opera and musical theater and things. And so I'm constantly thinking about story and characters and how it relates to the music. You know?
Well, and the Christmas music, it does have a story to it. Even the sing-alongs that we do. But like, what are some of the songs that we'll be doing ahead of the Christmas?
So some of the things that we're doing a piece by Rimsky-Korsakov from his opera Christmas Eve, and there's a polonaise that's probably very familiar to most of the audiences when you hear it, and It's very dramatic. It's very in the opera. Actually, it would have a chorus singing along to it. But when we do it in a symphonic situation, it's just the orchestra. But it's very festive. It kind of evokes a party, a Christmas Eve sort of celebration or party. And so that's one of the pieces. Another one that we're doing is by Bizet. It's called Farandole, which is from L'Arlésienne suite. And L'Arlésienne this is actually interesting, L'Arlésienne was a play. And Bizet wrote the music as incidental music to the play. Because, back then, now I think this was maybe 1870s, 1880s, nowadays we go to a play and there's generally maybe some kind of recorded music for atmosphere or something, if it's not a musical or an opera. And of course then people were writing incidental music to be played by live musicians to accompany the play, maybe between scenes. The most famous example probably would be Mendelssohn's Midsummer Night's Dream. But in this case, he wrote this music for a play, and the Farandole has become a very famous, again, the audiences will recognize it for sure. So both of those pieces have a kind of a dramatic background, a storytelling kind of background.
You could easily set that as an underscore to something that's happening
Absolutely,
on stage. So
for sure.
That's really exciting. I was listening to it backstage before, and I want to say it's different pieces that you're doing this time than we did in 2017.
Yeah,
a couple of them are the same, but I know that there was a couple of new ones that were interesting to listen to, because again, I really see that as a conversation piece. You could close your eyes and just listen and imagine what's happening on stage, and I'll have to check that play out. So and he does use it as kind of an underscore.
Yeah, it kind of goes along with the story with L'Arlésienne. Awesome. Yeah, and the other two pieces that we're doing, three pieces, we're doing an arrangement of Green Sleeves by Vaughan Williams, the great British composer, and it's just a beautiful Christmas melody.
It's iconic.
It's iconic, yeah. And then the other is an arrangement by Jeff Tyzik, who's a wonderful American arranger, composer, based on the Wexford Carol, and then of course we end the evening with a big Christmas sing-along.
Yeah.
So the audience gets to kind of
get ready to sing. Get ready to
sing. We'll have the words kind of projected on a screen behind it, and I will lead everyone, and hopefully everyone will have a really good time singing.
That's at the tail end of the Christmas Carol? Okay. So I'm going to stick around. I'll be singing.
Stick around and sing along.
Sing with Scrooge.
That's right. Sing along with Scrooge.
Yeah, I'll be happy and less grumpy at that point. So
you will have been redeemed at that point.
Yes, absolutely. I'll be jolly. I'll be wearing my Sunday bests.
Yeah. Although early in the Christmas Carol, there's actually a great moment that we talked about last night with the orchestra where Scrooge is not so happy.
Yeah.
And he's a little grumpy and kind of leads in.
Yeah. And I know there's a point where I'm just sitting there and scribing and copying notes at my desk, and you start playing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas."
Right.
And my instinct, I looked at Sam out in the audience. I'm just like, ugh. I'm still
it was
still
interesting because we had the conversation with the orchestra of, is it a little ironic? Like, the "We Wish You a Merry Christmas" is not, at that moment in the show, is not, the arrangement that Carl Davis did for this music, just to mention that, by the way, is, it weaves in and out some Christmas carols and some familiar tunes. It even has a little Beethoven in the music, and some very kind of atmospheric music when the ghosts when the ghosts arrive, and that's called the phantom music. But anyway, sometimes I think it's not necessarily the way you're used to hearing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas," because it's maybe a little ironic, because Scrooge is not feeling it at that moment in the story.
Even listening to some of the recordings from 2017, I forgot that I did this, where you can hear me audibly saying "Bah humbug." I hate this song. when that "Wish You a Merry Christmas" starts playing. I'm like, I don't remember saying that. I had all these little side notes and just like, I'll respond to it.
Of course, of course.
Are you serious? Like, just have that breaking the fourth wall experience.
That's right.
Which I enjoy, because it is, it's supposed to be fun, and I feel like I'm not necessarily playing for laughs, but it's a very comedic character, you know.
Right.
He is so grumpy that it's like.
Yeah, it's maybe Scrooge was sitting there and on his Spotify,
yes,
"We Wish You a Merry Christmas" came up, and he was like, "Are you kidding me? You know, why is my algorithm playing this for me right now?" You know, or maybe I guess maybe he heard it out in the street. You know, someone is
singing,
walking by playing it or singing it, and.
But it is nice to find the fun in his grumpiness, because I mean I think that comedy in itself, it's like you're playing the truth so hard that it is funny, you know. I mean, there's nobody that I know that's this grumpy
that hates Christmas
this much, you know. And I know the interview that the soundbite that we did, I compared it to How the Grinch Stole Christmas, you know.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of really great parallels. I feel like it's not modern. It's been done, but like I feel like they took a lot of their inspiration from A Christmas Carol, and the fact that his heart grew, 10 times its size, and
that's right.
But it's a more appealing way to present that story to kids, and have them realize that Christmas isn't about money and social status, I guess, in Scrooge's life, but it's about family, because I feel like there's a lot of instances where you go back in time and you sit and you see Scrooge's story.
Yeah,
he used to keep Christmas in his heart, and then slowly but surely greed and money just overtake him, and he forgets about what's most important,
what matters,
and he ends up alone. And I love how the music dictates that too, that whole bell situation. I can't remember the name of the song that you play, but it's soft. I think it's sad.
I think it's called Bell in the score. Yeah,
it's sad. Because
it's a beautiful,
you're seeing,
mournful kind of melody.
You're seeing this man choose money and greed over this beautiful woman, and she may not be a girl who has this amazing dowry that he's going to catapult into social status, but and then to continue that into I mean, it doesn't show it on screen, but it shows his upbringing with his father, and how he put him into kind of like a reform school,
yes, right.
But was never you never see his dad, and there's several different iterations of A Christmas Carol that they've made over the years, but I think that people forget about his upbringing, because
there's a reason he became that way.
You are how you were raised, and it gets to a certain point, like even I have a 17-year-old kid. It's like you get to a point where it's like, well, you're an adult now. And yes, you were raised this certain way, but now you are left to make your own choices. And are you going to continue to be greedy like Scrooge, or are you going to have family values in your heart? So, and I love that about this story as a whole, because we are teaching kids that it's not about how many Robux you have in your account. I don't know if you know what Robux are, but there's a game called Roblox or Minecraft or anything.
Of course, I've heard of Roblox. And I have a 16-year-old son at home, so Minecraft is happening all the time.
Minecraft,
for sure.
So Minecraft bucks, or whatever they call them. It's not how much you have in your account, but it's like just being appreciative of what you do have. And I know one of the things that I love about the Cratchit's house is they have next to nothing.
Right.
And even the music is indicative to that, because there's no underscore to the dialogue, but there's this, it's like a prelude, and then of course the music afterwards, you feel for them, but then he says, Scrooge, or not Scrooge, but the narrator says something to the effect of, they were not a handsome family. They were not well dressed. Their shoes were far from waterproof, but they were happy.
Yes.
And then the music just picks up.
And then there's this joyous. Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that it's not about money, it's not about material things. It's about, and I think that's of course what Scrooge sees when he sees it, right?
Yeah.
It's the wow.
You start to see a change in him, because even the whole exchange with Bob and Tiny Tim, realizing, oh my gosh, this kid's sick. He starts to feel something. Like even the text says, Scrooge said with an interest he had never felt before.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so he's learning empathy
Right.
at like 70 years old.
Yeah, late in life.
Yeah.
You know, well, it's never
Never
too
too late,
right?
yeah.
Exactly, exactly. No, I love the analogy or the comparison to the Grinch, because I had never put that together, but it really is a similar kind of basis on that. I mean, from the Grinch, I think it stems maybe more from the hatred of. I was thinking when you were talking about the if there's anyone we know that actually really hates Christmas that much, and the closest parallel I can think of are the people that try to avoid hearing the Mariah Carey song as long as they can.
Yeah. I've been,
or the George Michael song, like you're just trying to what is the day that you know, can you make it to December 20th before you hear
can
it?
we at least try December? I worked in retail, so every year
you're never gonna, it gets earlier and
earlier and earlier, and it was just like, it's not even Thanksgiving yet.
Yes,
I'm not ready for this.
You're gonna hear my son beats me to it every year, because I think I'm gonna make it, and then he just on the piano he starts playing the Mariah Carey song.
No.
And, you know, so I didn't even hear the real one. I just hear him.
It is a good song. There's a reason. So I do karaoke and trivia and stuff like that in bars and private events. And this year we did some Christmas trivia. And one of the questions was, what's the #1 selling Christmas song of all time? Or what song has spent the most time in the Billboard Top 100s? It's All I Want for Christmas.
I was going to say it has to be that, right?
It's like people still like it, you know.
No question.
Like, and I feel like there is every time I listen to that song specifically, I'm like, oh. And then halfway through, I'm like,
no, of course, it's
okay.
And then you can't get it out of your head for the rest of the week.
Exactly. I mean, it's a great song. She wrote it, and well, actually, I don't know if she wrote it.
I don't know.
She probably didn't write it.
We have to do a fact check on that one.
Exactly,
I don't actually know either who wrote the song.
But there's several songs out there like that are even Last Christmas by Wham. And I mean, I used to do this thing in my car with one of my friends where they're like, oh, I don't like this song. Can we put this song on? yeah, it's okay. I mean, there's nothing else to listen to.
No one wants to admit they like it.
And then slowly you start singing it, and then by the chorus you're just yelling it out loud. So.
For sure.
Which I mean, again, throwing it back to Christmas, it's like you start off and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to spend all this time with my family. I am dreading this. And then your family's there and you're smiling and you forget because you haven't spent any time with them. Maybe you know, if your parents or your family are far away, and then you start to remember like all those little things that you did, those traditions that you had as a kid, you know, and they just kind of come flooding back. And I remember sitting at Thanksgiving and just kind of looking around the table and like, I miss this. Like, it's what I grew up with. I grew up with a very big family where it wasn't even Christmas or Thanksgiving or New Year's. We were, every other weekend, we'd have these big family get-togethers, you know, and I felt pretty blessed to have what I had as a kid. So.
Yeah.
Well, how did you grow up? What was your family
I grew up in a very Christmas weather kind of situation, because I grew up Western New York near Buffalo and Rochester, so always a white Christmas, lots of snow. But yeah, I have two brothers, and so and aunts and uncles that lived in the town, and we always had a big Christmas celebration at my uncle and aunt's and my cousin's house. And when I was a kid, and they had a big sledding hill in their backyard, actually. And so that's my big memory of Christmas was at some point we'd always end up outside sledding down the hill, which was really fun.
And those are core memories.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure.
I feel like I mean, as artists and I guess teachers, you know, we try to put that into a lot of the things that we do. And I'm really looking forward to, yes, I've done this before, but like giving a fresh take on it and us putting who we are as people into this specific production. So, because it's a whole production. Speaking of which,
for sure.
This Saturday, December 20th, 10:30 is our dress rehearsal, but it is you can pay to watch our dress rehearsal. But then the big performance is at 7:30. Again, December 20th, this Saturday, 10:30, 7:30. Come join us at the Alberta Bear.
Which might be tomorrow.
Yep, that is tomorrow.
I think it's tomorrow.
It is tomorrow.
It's December 20th, and it's tomorrow.
Yes.
No, it's to get back to the concert like that. It's exciting when you think about kids talk about traditions and things. That's another thing from my childhood, was always going to kind of holiday concerts and things. The Nutcracker or other things with orchestras, and thinking about that. That here, this could be one of those things, you come to the symphony, you sing along, you hear tunes that and it's just part of the celebration, part of the family tradition.
Well, I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. Hopefully
Likewise.
I don't make you crack up and laugh too much. So, well, thanks for joining us. Again, come see us tomorrow, December 20th, 10:30 and 7:30 at the Alberta Bear.